So this week we are looking at more photos. We did 2 videos like this before for like the first 24 weeks of the year, so I want to continue that. This week we're just going to take a look at 5 or 6 weeks of photography. And I thought I'd do it because I haven't done anything talking for a while. The last few weeks have just been little cinematic videos. So I wanted to get in front of the camera again and just do some chatting with you. So I thought it'd be a good idea to take a look at these photos. So we're going to jump straight into week 25, which straight away was one of my least favourite, just because I didn't really get anything great, and as I've said loads of times before, these are always last minute, so I don't really like the edits on these. But let's just take a little look. So here is one of the few that's been edited. And this is at Talabont on Usk, a place that I do tend to go up to a lot. It's a place I went to a long time ago, but I find myself going up there quite a lot lately, just to, I don't know, escape a bit. It's nothing up there, which is why I like it. I just go up there and take photos and listen to music and drive about. I guess straight away in this photo there's a lot of detail sharpening. You can tell a lot of that on the trees. Of bringing the colours out in the foreground. The interesting about this photo is there is depth to it. There's something interesting going on in this foreground, and we can kind of use the eyes to lead us from these colourful, plants or flowers in the foreground up towards a little stream, and then to the trees in the middle, and then all the way up to the mountains at the top. The only thing that lets it down a bit is just this kind of overexposed sky where there's no clouds. But someone might find interest in that, I'm not sure. Again, with this one, a lot of detail sharpening, but it still seems to be, in some weird way, out of focus. I'm not sure why. It seems blurred in a way. Maybe I just shot it wrong. Again, there is something about just trying to capture the height of the trees in such a weird perspective. I don't know. I think a lot of the time you get out, especially with this challenge I've set myself, I've gone to a lot of places the same, and I'm going there and I'm going, what am I filming or what am I shooting because I've done this before? I think the big picture is just trying to find new vantage points, of finding a new perspective of photo, because I think that's the challenge in itself as well. Can you go back to the same place and find something else? So this is very low, almost on the water, looking at the trees. Again, with this one, I really don't like this, but there isn't any one way of editing, I guess. It's on the day, I'm messing around with the adjustments and the filters and just seeing what looks the best in the end of the day. And I guess on this day, I was literally pulling out different colours everywhere. It wasn't really sticking to one sort of tone. And I think the way the light hit this shot, it made some oranges pop a bit more, as if there were any. Could be really artificial, this is. But I think, lesson learned on this one, too much detail makes it look worse. Like, it looks very, I don't know, pixelated in a way. But again, the one thing I do like about it is the height that we're getting. Where it's almost like we're very close to this, and we'll letting the sort of mountain tower over us. This was on a railway track overlooking some reservoir. Again, I'm just really slagging off this week because I just really didn't like it. The edit, I don't know, it's just... The only thing that I think I was trying to do with this one was the sort of leading lines, letting that track take you around the bend, and then you going, oh, what's around the bend, and then you'll never know. Strangely enough, I did like this one. I think I like the way the road in the middle is highlighted. We're sort of like compressing everything around it and drawing your eye to that middle of the photo, because that's the first thing you look at when this comes up. boom, there's that middle. And I think I got a sense of sort of slasher horror opening shot where these group of kids are right in the middle of nowhere, and then boom, shit goes down basically. Again, trying to incorporate different elements that I wouldn't usually get around where I live. So, incorporate, trying to get the reservoir in, and then also in the same shot trying to get the railway track in. So, again, I think as much as I hate this week, and a lot of weeks, it really is experimenting. That's a bit more interesting. I do like the colour on the water. Again, anytime you're shooting with sky, it's difficult, because if there's nothing happening in the sky, but you're also trying to expose everything underneath to bring some shadows out, but then not trying to do it too much, it's a difficult thing to do, unless I'm just crap. Probably that's what it is. Again, I think I've gone with the wrong edit on this one. There's a lot of darkness and what looks like blurred in the background there. But then I guess it really does depend on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to blur out that on purpose? And yeah, that's what I did. Wink. And just trying to keep your eyes on the track. Again, trying to go low with my friend in the shot. And that's it for week 25. Very, very disappointing week, really. Week 26, I went away on a little caravan retreat, and I always get excited about these things because you're going to somewhere where you're on the coast and you know that there's potential of getting something really nice. That is, if you got the weather with you and there's good composition there. I think on this day in particular, I wasn't getting anything. I just didn't. Nothing was sort of working for me really, and again, just trying to make use out of what you got. And in a weird way, this sort of, I think it's some sort of, meant to be some sort of watchtower or lighthouse. In fact, it could be a guard's post for some sort of facility. I can't remember, what does it say there? Government property, no authorised access. There you are, some government property. I just thought it was an eerie vibe and it looked quite cool, especially with this edit. There's something kind of sinister about it. So I did actually like this shot, despite not liking a lot of the others. Anytime there's someone out on the water, boats, people, try and take advantage of that. I've tried to do that a lot of the times. And I think a lot of photographers do that in any scenario. If they go and do street photography, they're always trying to capture people in their day-to-day lives because it makes more compelling photos, I guess, rather than just buildings. Like this one. So this is a black and white 4 preset that I found on Lightroom, and I've used this a few times. And I think it's just a really sharp preset and an interesting one. It's sort of like, it's black and white, but it has this tinge of sort of green, and it's not too much. And I really did like this photo because it just shows how small that man is, and that body of water itself isn't that huge, but that just shows how vast the sea is. And just that little bit of land at the top, like he's sort of, I don't know, trying to reach that end. I really did like this photo. Again, sometimes I like to sort of go low, try and use some sort of grass and foreground just to make it things like pop a little more, like the side of the rocks. Again, very dark photo. This one, I even like more than a couple of the others. I think that the use of the road, the way we've sort of highlighted and composed the road in the middle there with all the houses around the side. This is another sort of black and white one that sort of, on the day I thought, oh God, it's not good. And this is another thing, on the day as well, you're like, and most times I go out, I've taken a group of photos and I'm going, I don't know if I really have anything now this week because it's nothing really pop. But then the edit does change that as well. And again, this is a different sort of black and white where I've definitely just highlighted the water. I've even tried to get a seagull in the foreground. You probably wouldn't notice that first off. But again, it's people in their day-to-day lives, and there's something kind of old-fashioned about this one. And I do like the streak of, so where that water meets the sand right through the middle of the photo. We've got the top cornered in dark and then the bottom in light. There's something nice about it. And that's it. That is week 26. Week 27. I found myself wandering up the local forest again. Local sort of, it's called a, a lot of people say mountain, but apparently it's just a hill. Because it's under a certain requirement to become a mountain, and it's not. It feels like a mountain though when you walk up it, but it's a hill. So, like before with this sort of, when the horror slasher movie sort of shot, I've really just found this house and used the sort of forestry behind it just to really, I don't know, make this feel like it's in the middle of nowhere, which it is in a way. But look at all the forestry around. Like, I've even done it so that I haven't come out of the forest. I've pushed myself back in, so I've got all these leaves in the foreground, right at the top and bottom. So we've squeezed it even more in the middle. It's almost like a letterbox photo. And even more, that's pinched so close and it's so small. And we've got this just huge, gigantic forest surrounding it. I actually really love this photo. Especially that the house was white too. That made it pop a little more. We've got some nice highlight. Do you know, I actually do love this photo. I'll say, again, there is not a great deal going on in this photo. It was that sort of, if you squint your eyes, you'll see the two people on the bike in the middle. And on the day, this sort of mountainside, it's not a mountain, it's a hill. I just always call it mountain. This hill sort of has these zigzag tracks going all the way to the top, which makes for an interesting photo. I didn't get that, but what I did get was these people in the middle. So that's what I got. Again, like I always do every week, there's these sort of, as you know, I'm picking out one photo every week, and I haven't really shown them off yet. But there's always this package of stills that I get in that week. And although I wouldn't use this photo anyway, that goes into the package, that goes into the vibe that I've sort of created for that week. My journey, my adventure for that week. And I don't know why I sort of wanted to include this no through zone. It's not stop, it's no drive. What's it called then? You can't drive through it. It's one way. So it's almost like, let's just say it's a no entry, right? Okay. And I just like the idea of incorporating it, but making it blurred, and then just sort of having all that background focused, saying we are entering it. That's where we are bloody entering it. I really like this one because I'm in Cwmbran, Wales. But when I took this photo and edited this photo, I didn't feel like it felt like Cwmbran. It felt like, I don't know, somewhere, it could be America, somewhere. It was giving me Star Wars Return of the Jedi vibes. In some of those, like redwood forests, even though they're not redwood trees, I know that, they're far from it. In fact, they're like sticks. But some of the light in this shot, the way it was creeping through, and that's what I love about forest photography, the way the light can creep through and spill onto the floor and the leaves and things like that, that makes for a wonderful photo. This was interesting to me because I love the forest and the mountain area, and it's always a shame to see them cutting a lot of the trees down. Don't get me wrong. Are they doing it because the trees are dying and they're dangerous and they need to get rid of them, or is it because they're doing it to sell it, to make God knows what. But I like the idea of this sort of being focused and highlighted in the middle of the photo with all the other trees still upstanding. Is that the future of the trees? You know what I mean? So we can read into that's it. It's not what I intended, but that's why we can look into it, you know. There was this, you can't, again, if you squint your eyes, you can see a deer. And it wasn't a good photo, but he is looking back, and I would crop into that, but it goes pixelated, it goes blurry, it's not good. And then that's just a longer version of what I shot just now. Just trying to include more of the path, just trying to go wider on it. Week 28 was a big one because I've got a lot of photos here. Some weeks I can come away with 1 or 4 or 5 photos, but sometimes I can come away with bloody loads. I'm always interested in trying to find a cool way of shooting a building. I have a lot of friends that prefer different subjects, like people. I am more interested in buildings. And they're more boring to shoot, I know that, because they just sit still and don't do anything. But it's finding a cool way to compose it. How is it looking in the frame? I did like this one too, because it shows a lot of detail in the town, in the forest. It's really putting a footprint in where this sort of town is within the valley. I love telephone poles and pylons. I don't know why. Like, look at that. That's straight out of Stranger Things, isn't it? The sheep staring dead. Again, it's, you know, and this is the interesting thing, right? It's like, and this is what separates different photographers, is everyone has their own sort of style, everyone has their own vision, everyone has their own sort of way of capturing things. And if you were to go out and take a photo of a sheep, like, how do you do it? Do you just go up close and get detail? Do you shoot like this? So you're not just capturing the sheep, you're capturing the land too. But then also, are you doing it in such a way where I've gone really low? Like, look at there's like 5 different layers here. No, let's say 6, right? So we've got the blurry foreground. Then we've got the sort of golden, whatever they are. Then we've got the sheep, which is our main subject. Then we've got the tree line behind. Then we've got the other tree line behind, and then we've got the sky. Which on this one, the sky is doing a little bit more than the others. It's got those little bit of hints of dark and highlights, and it's doing more. So in some weird way, this photo is doing a lot. There's layers to it, like onions, like Shrek. I like this one because in this foreground down here is all demolished land. And it sort of spoke in the way of, you know, all this farmer's land, these fields and these woods have been here for thousands of years. And a building that's been there, I don't know, 50 years, not even that, is already gone, demolished, and looks like crap. And it was a bit of a testament to sort of nature lasting longer than us. There's been a few times where I've gone out and I'm getting these high points where I'm on a mountain, but I do love the way the light hits some of these fields sometimes. Again, like a couple of other photos, this is a good important thing about waiting for light too. There's been times where I've been out and I'm sat there waiting for the light to come around the cloud or whatever, because otherwise you've just got a lot of shadow, a lot of darkness, a lot of gloomy things. You need that balance of light and shadows. So we've got all these fields lit and then all these forestry bits in the foreground just in shadow, bits of highlight, but it just draws the eye. It really does. A lot of photographers too stick with one style. They got their sort of, the way they edit. They sort of always do it the same, or they've got their preset packs. But I think a lot of my photos do differ. There's that sort of same theme there. There's that nature theme that I've always been going for. But in terms of color, filter, style, it's always there's a big range there. And again, looking for subject, there wasn't. This is you go up to these places and you look at something like this, you go, "Yo, I'm not going to take a photo of that. There's nothing there." And there isn't a great deal there, really, is there? But I just liked the idea that something had obviously happened here. We have a fence coming over another fence that says "road closed," and we got half a sign there, and then some what looks like the backside of some truck had come off and the window smashed. There's a story there. I don't know what the story is, but I just liked it. Again, old buildings, anything that's run down, especially in some sort of landscape like this, it always interests me, because you're not just taking a photo for people to look at. They're looking at the detail in these buildings. There's more to look at, A single tree, we've seen that before. My granddad, took him out for a walk. He enjoyed it. See, I like this too. There's so many layers. It looks like it looks like a sea of clouds there, hovering over just a wildly vast landscape. So not only do we get that, we get the field in front and then the wall in front. And I guess that's another cool sort of interesting tool to go out and film or photograph. A good challenge is like, how much can you fit in a photo? Really, like, just take a photo of something. Take a photo of a tree and then come back, and then get a wall in it and then come back. See how much you can really get. Keep coming back. Again, as you can see, I focused on the detail in the wall in this one, because we don't need to focus too much on the background there. We know what's going on there. This was an interesting one too for me, because a large majority of this photo is just rock face, but there is a lot of detail and colour and just a lot going on in that photo. And then again, using subject, using people, it just shows the size of the rock face compared to the people climbing up in the middle there. Again, anytime you're out, you see an opportunity, you just snap that photograph. Again, as I was saying earlier about the light hitting the field, this is another example of that, but I've, again, maybe pushed it a bit too far. I could have just, maybe, I don't know, gone a bit too vibrant on some of it. And then gone vintage, gone grain and 80s retro sort of. There you go. That's it for this week. I just wanted to go through some of those photos, sit down and chat with you, because we haven't done it for a little while. And we'll continue this next week with about 6 or 7 more weeks of photos. But just thank you for watching, like always, and I'll see you next Sunday. Hello? Alright? Okay. Yeah. Okay then, mate. So I'm doing it. I'm filming now. I'm gonna try and be quick about it and edit it. So I'll just let you know where I am around 12 o'clock. Is it? Yeah, I got the smoke machine going.